What if I told you that this
You do this for a living? With that accent, I was thinking rodeo clown.
Don't you mock me, boy!
led to this?
This guy thinks he's a real cut-up. Yeah, it's up to us.
Let's cut to the chase!
It sounds a little crazy, but it's true. Power Rangers, originally released in 1993, is a children's action series following a group of 5 people who transform into colorful spandex in order to fight monsters. Now, Power Rangers actually gets its footage from a long-running Japanese tokusatsu series, Super Sentai, tokusatsu being the moniker for media with a high use of practical special effects, but really the moniker is used to describe shows or movies with people in costumes or spandex, so things like Power Rangers and Godzilla. Now, in order to understand this connection, we need to go back to the beginning. Super Sentai was created by Shotaro Ishinomori. With its first season, Himitsu Sentai Go Ranger, or Secret Squadron 5 Ranger, releasing in 1975 with its second season, Jaka Dengeki Kai, or JAKQ Blitzkrieg Team, releasing 2 years later in 1977. These first 2 seasons did not operate under the Super Sentai moniker originally, but rather were referred to as just Sentai. This is important, I swear. Jaka was not very popular, only running for about 35 episodes compared to the very popular Go Rangers run of 84 episodes. It was after this that a deal was made that would elevate the Super Sentai series to new heights, arguably being the reason why the show continues to run to this day. The producer of the series, Toei, made a deal with Marvel in 1978 where for 3 years the two could use each other's properties. Toei decided to start out with an adaptation of Spider-Man, and so Spider-Man was born. Spider-Man does not tell the same story of Peter Parker that we all know. In fact, the only similarities the two share are their suit, the powers, and the death of a loved one causing the hero to take up the mantle of Spider-Man. Spider-Man tells the story of motorcyclist Takuya Yamashiro, who was attacked by the same people who killed his father, Professor Monster, and his evil Iron Cross army. Takuya, near death, stumbles upon the space warrior Garia, whose home planet, Planet Spider, was destroyed by Professor Monster. To save Takuya, Garia gives him the Spider Brace, which gives him spider-like abilities as well as the titular costume. What really made the series different than others that came before it was that after defeating the Monster of the Week, the defeated monster would then grow giant, prompting Spider-Man to call upon the spaceship Marveler, which would then transform into the giant robot Leopardon. Leopardon was insanely popular with unprecedented toy sales, and Toei, seeing this, decided to add a giant robot to their next Sentai series made under the Marvel deal, Battle Fever J, based off of Captain America. The inclusion of a giant robot in the series cemented the popularity of the show and set the precedent for each following season to include a giant robot, something that continues even to this day with the current seasons, as well as adding the Super to the name. Toei made 2 more shows under the Marvel deal, Denji Sentai Denji Man, or Electric Squadron Electronic Man, whose main villain, Queen Hadrian, was based off of Hela, and its sequel, Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan, or Solar Squadron Sun Vulcan, who also featured said villain. It should be noted that Stan Lee thought there was a potential to bring these Super Sentai shows to the American audience with an adaptation, even pitching the idea to adapt Sun Vulcan that sadly never came to fruition. It wasn't until years later in 1984 when, during a trip to Japan, Haim Saban, while flipping through the channels in his hotel room, he stumbled upon the current airing Super Sentai season at the time, Shodenshi Bioman, or Super Electronic Bioman. Saban immediately saw the potential for the show in the US, and in 1986 had the pilot made using the Bioman footage. He showed that around to execs, but nobody picked it up, and so the pilot stayed unused for years, with rumors that Saban kept a copy of it and showed it to any exec he could throughout the years. Eventually, Saban's efforts paid off in 1992 when the pilot was decided to be picked up by Fox Kids, whose president at the time, Margaret Lesh, previously ran Marvel Productions, so it stands to reason that she would have been somewhat familiar with Super Sentai. Saban and his team worked with Fox Kids to secure a deal with Toei to officially adapt Super Sentai and use its footage. Instead of using Saban's original pilot for Bioman, they went with the most recent Sentai season at the time, Kyoryu Sentai Zhu Ranger, or Dinosaur Squadron Beast Ranger. After coming up with the details of the show, as well as the terms and mythos they wanted to establish, like Zord and Morphing Time, decided on the name, and so, on August 28th, 1993, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers aired to kids all over the country. The show, for those who don't know, had American actors and scenes shot for the plot, while the actual footage of the Rangers themselves came from Ranger. The plots and characters were very different from the original, changed for an American audience, and it's very noticeable. I mean, have you ever seen Power Rangers do something like this? Power Rangers quickly became a pop culture phenomenon, and being well known even to this day, the show would continue to run for 24 more seasons. Well, technically 30, but that's a story for another day. The final one being Power Rangers Cosmic Fury in 2023, ending the continuity that spanned for 30 years. But it seems that Power Rangers isn't done yet, as while making this video, it was announced that a reboot is in the works to be aired on Disney+, although without any footage from Super Sentai. Power Rangers continues to live on, and will continue to entertain new and old audiences alike, much like its predecessors.